So, what would you say is a common problem that comes up in these deals that, or in a traditional deal that wouldn't come up in this type of deal with the reverse wrap?
To be honest with you, they're easier to close than traditional deals. When you're doing a traditional deal, you've got in most cases, two realtors involved, buyer and seller, buying agent and selling agent. You've
Yeah.
got a title company, which we use title company. That's kind of a misconception. I'll come back to this in a second. But you've got a title company, you've got an appraiser, you've got a an inspector, a home inspector. So
Hmm.
you've got all these moving parts again, and they're time consuming. You got a mortgage broker, which, by the way, a mortgage broker has the hardest job of anybody in the entire real estate process. Harder than the realtors, harder than you talk about earning their money. A mortgage person earns their money. That is a tough position because they're coordinating all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, we just simply have a transaction that there's not an appraisal required unless the buyer wants an appraisal. If they want to make sure that that house appraises, they can. If they're comfortable with the price, we don't require an appraisal. Um, the
Okay.
always title company. The one advice I'll give to every home buyer, every real estate investor: don't close a deal period without a title company. That is our protection. A lot of people think that real estate agents are there as protection for us, right? That they protect it. They don't. They simply take a contract and take it to the title company, and the title company does the title search, make sure the taxes are prorated and counted and all that stuff, and make sure that a clear title goes from that seller to that buyer, and
Yeah.
ensures that if they made a mistake and somebody comes from the history of this property and makes claim, that you've also got title insurance that covers that claim. So out of all of my advice that I would give to anybody, you don't need a realtor, and I'm not saying don't use them, because I work with realtors all the time, but a realtor is not necessary to provide security to their buyer or their seller. The title company is the protective entity. They're licensed, they're governed, and that is the entity that protects all parties. And in fact, lenders too, right? Lender sends the
Yeah.
money to pay the seller for their house to the title company. Well, until the title company gets all the right filings and signatures and all that stuff, that money stays at that title company. And if something doesn't happen right, they send it back to that lender. So that lender's completely comfortable sending that money to them and then releasing it to the seller. So it's the title company that gives that protection to everybody. But truthfully, these transactions, I can close a transaction like this in 4 days. Where if
Wow.
there's a mortgage company involved, um,
Yeah.
30 to 45 days is the norm, right? So,
Fun. Yeah.
yeah, we can do these quite quickly. So I would say it's easier. And we have legal paperwork that's looked over by attorneys. We do everything by the book. We don't cut any corners or do anything like that. You want to get bitten in business, go try to do this on your own, and not use professionally, legally drafted and proper paperwork, and close with title companies.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, and then too, like having a solid system in place with somebody that's been doing this for so long, and you kind of already worked out all the kinks in the entire system. So it's like, you spend whatever it costs for the course, but man, that knowledge is invaluable when it comes to putting the deals together, finding the buyers, strategizing the deals, doing the paperwork on it. I mean, that there's a lot that you got to know that you probably don't know going into it. Even being a seasoned investor, I think you know, you wouldn't really be able to figure everything out
I've
without
not
having.
seen I've not seen it all, Robert. I can tell you right now, I still learn every single day. There are
Yeah,
things that pop up that's like, what? But hey,
right.
just move forward. You take things as they come, and I've learned a lot over the years, and I'm still learning. But truthfully, there's no two real estate deals alike. For the most part, there's
Yeah,
always something, there's always dynamics, right? You're dealing with people's lives. And I'm extremely cognizant of that.